What is up, everybody?
Hello.
Aaron Sampson here with Spencer Mulder. We are going to talk about Battlefield 1, They Shall Not Pass, which is basically a whole battlefield dedicated to you fighting the Balrog.
Yeah,
right?
You know, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
But for those of us back down on Earth, this is actually the DLC where you fight as the French forces against the German forces. So we're actually going to jump into an operations mode. We're going to show you guys the first map, one of the new operations called Devil's Anvil. So let's see if we give this a shot. Let's see. Boom.
Randy in the chat, that was a bad impersonation of Gandalf clearing his throat and fighting some...
Gotta slightly agree with him on that.
Big old demon monster on a bridge, because that happened. Also, side note, Tolkien fought in World War I, so it is a bit topical. Unclear whether he got his saying from the French saying, which is what this DLC is based on.
All right, let's see if we can let them hear the opening intro to this. The opening intros, I think, is definitely one of the better things of Battlefield. I kind of hope they do this more often.
Wir sind auf eine lange Schlacht vorbereitet. Aus ganz Europa treffen mit Zügen Truppen und Vorräte ein. Wir rücken langsam vor, Schwelle für Schwelle, Schiene um Schiene. Sie sind unsere Skalpelle, die in das Herz Frankreichs stechen. Wir werden dieses Land aufschneiden und ausbluten lassen. Diese Offensive hat einen Decknamen, Operation Gericht. Ich weiß, dass diese Schlacht diesen schrecklichen Krieg beenden wird.
And to answer your question, Zombie Killer 19, yes, we hope we get to the Trench Raider elite kit. It is on this map along with the next map following this one, so let's hope we can get to it.
Spencer and I have actually already played. We went down to an event, played this for about 8 hours, so any questions you have about the DLC, we can probably already answer now. I can also answer questions about, if you want to go off topic, I guess the first Mass Effect Andromeda mission, which I have played. Come back tomorrow for, we playing some Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer. Let's fight this loading screen. I don't know, out in the chat there, people still playing Battlefield 1? Did you fall off it for Titanfall or other high-profile games? I think Spencer and I are both longtime Battlefield fans. Have played since 2.
I've played since Bad Company 1. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't have a powerful enough PC to play Battlefield 2, but eventually it did. And yeah, I love Battlefield 2. But Bad Company 2 is my favorite Battlefield. So what's new about this DLC, aside from the new maps and a new mode called Frontlines, which is basically Russian slow-mo, you can actually take a look at one of our videos, quick little overlook at the new DLC. But one of the other new things is the guns now. They have some new weapons in the game. I'm not even going to remotely try to pronounce this. You want to give it a shot?
Oh, wow. I looked all this up for the piece we were doing, but my French is very rusty. Should I do the American version of it?
Sure, go ahead.
Actually, I'm not sure if that is a J in the middle, but it's probably the Sjogren.
Yes.
Internal factory.
We will go with that. So these are all new weapons, and how you get these weapons, if you look down in the bottom corner, you have to perform certain tasks to get them. So for example, for this gun, you have to perform 50 kills with a Model 10A slug, and in one round, you have to perform 15 kills with an M97 Trench Hunter. So before you can even get any of these guns, you make sure you have the guns that you need to unlock these things. And this is one of your favorite guns to say. How do you say this one?
Oh, the
ribble rolls.
It's the roll. It's the French roll in the back of your throat. The ribrolls or something like that. Ribrolls.
Ribrolls.
I don't know. Everybody, all the YouTubers in the room were just like the ribeye rolls. I got killed with the ribeye rolls.
That's a much better name.
This one is a the ribeye rolls. That one is a kind of a support class gun that made its way over to assault. Battlefield has a long history of sort of, I don't know, blanding out their classes with subsequent DLCs, giving them other classes' abilities, so that's more of a support class gun given to the assault class.
Right. So the next gun we're going to look at here, which we actually unlocked, which is the RSC 1917 Factory rifle. This actually is one of the better medic rifles you can get for the medic class. If I have to say there's one downside to this new DLC, is that the weapon selections, they're not that great. Basically, the guns that you already unlock in the main game can kind of, I would say, almost kick all these other guns' butts. It's a little disappointing, but at the same time, it kind of keeps the game balanced. So this is actually one of my favorite rifles to use right now for the medic class. Packs a decent punch, really good accuracy. It only has 5 bullets in each magazine, but about 2 to 3 shots to the body on any enemy will drop them fast. So it's a good gun for that. And then the next gun that you can get for the support class is a chat. How do you say it? Chat shoot?
Shusha?
Yeah, something like that.
Or the Cho Chat.
The Cho Chat, as they were saying at the event. And I got to be honest, once again, the support class, you don't really need to go after any other gun besides having just the Lewis gun. I mean, this gun just, it's cool, but it's not as effective as the Lewis gun is.
It hits like the M60 from previous Battlefields, that very slow chuck, like that kind of really strong fire. Mm-hmm. But it only has, I think, 20 rounds, and you run out really fast. It's got a quick reload, but yeah, you pretty much have to be on target. Otherwise, at medium to close range, you'll get annihilated. And I still think the Lewis gun is one of the best guns for support class in this game.
Now, this sniper rifle here is actually really worth your time going after if you're a sniper fan. This sniper actually does a lot of damage. The Liberal Model 1886 Infantry, and the other one's is the sniper version, which has a bipod and a telegraphic scope on it. This actually is one of the better sniper rifles. If you love using the SMLE MK3, you're probably going to fall in love with this sniper rifle too.
People want you to go kill people right now.
I'm waiting for the match to start.
Hop in, kill some dudes. So out now for people with the premium pass. I believe it's about a 2-week window before it comes out for everybody else if you want to purchase individually. That is the Battlefield way these days.
That is the way of the Battlefield.
Question about whether it has any single-player content. Not
nope.
that we saw.
No single-player content that we saw. It's mostly all... Come on now.
We're waiting for one person.
One more person.
You can do this.
You one person, you. Let's see how the competition's looking.
You want to talk a little bit about the new mode, Frontlines?
So Frontlines is basically a rush is a slower rush. So how it works is, at the beginning of each round, each team has 2 telegraph stations, just like in Rush. In the middle of the map, though, you have 3 flags. One flag belongs to your team, the other flag belongs to the enemy team. The middle flag is neutral, and the object of the game is to capture those flags and move along, basically hopscotching your way to each and every single flag. And once every flag is captured, the enemy team's telegraphs become available to blow up. Now, the enemy team can push you back and capture your flags and push you back to your base and telegraph. It's basically a tug-of-war match. It's a little more slower than Rush, but it's pretty good. So, I mean, I'm enjoying it. So, it's a pretty good mode, but I've always been a big fan of Operations, and I'm loving these new maps. Shot him between his legs.
You're actually pretty decent with the metagun. I've never really liked them in Battlefield 1 because I feel like when they fire, they jump left, jump right, jump left, jump right, and you tend to miss somebody repeatedly because of the way you fire it.
It is. The medic rifles definitely take time getting used to, just because of the fact that, just as you said, the rifle can jump back and forth. So, but I like the medic rifles because they pack a punch, and I really like saving my buddies.
Syringe that man.
That's one pop.
Some of the operations in this new DLC are actually quite special. So,
oh Jesus!
There's one really good one where it's waves of tanks, particularly the new tank.
Yes, the assault tank, which hopefully we'll be able to show you in this live stream. So yeah, that is the other operations map where the enemy team has 6 tanks, 2 horses, and aircraft.
And then the defending team basically gets a series of giant-ass artillery pieces that are crazy powerful and fun to shoot. So it's artillery versus tanks.
Yep.
Which is a cool dynamic.
It is. It's definitely something different. It's not something that I think a lot of people would get used to right away, but it's definitely got this make your last stand kind of feel to it, which I like. Okay, so I can see this guy. There we go.
Yep, looks like we just went up on Twitch. We were having some issues before. Cool.
Now we're on Twitch. Hey, Twitch people.
Everybody asked about the white flag. I'm assuming because French. Maybe they should have had a white flag you could stab people with.
I literally thought that was a guy prone on the stomach for a second. Come on, come on. Oh, we're losing B. No.
We have taken objective apples.
So what are people out there playing right now?
I think everyone's kind of looking forward to that Mass Effect.
Yeah, no, like I said, I have played the first, and can talk about the first mission in Mass Effect. Tomorrow, come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about multiplayer, because we can. I'm a big fan of the Mass Effect series.
That's the same guy who knifed me.
Also, if you are playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, your thoughts on that?
Ghost Recon Wildlands is a great game to play cooperative with your friends, but man, playing single player, it's a drag. It definitely gets old pretty quick.
Luckily for you, Battlefield 1 has DLC.
That's right. Although I am looking forward to diving into Mass Effect, being a Mass Effect fan. But I am worried though. Oh, thought that guy was alive. Live. Alright, well, they got that one. I'm going to go back to B because they're taking B back.
It's interesting. I think as solid as Battlefield 1 has been up until this point, compared to what, like Battlefield 3 and 4, it always did feel a bit light on I don't know,
Content?
yeah,
Yeah.
especially on guns. So like they padded their gun unlock tree by just having variants of guns rather than a bunch of guns with attachments. So it is nice to have some new weapons to play with. Although I gotta say, like, playing Battlefield, trying to earn guns is probably the least fun way to play Battlefield. The best way to play Battlefield is just being whatever you need to be at whatever moment you need to be it. And I think a lot of the weapon unlock trees over the years encourage bad player behavior. They encourage you to not do the things that you should be doing, like playing the objective.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest, I couldn't stand Battlefield 4. I actually really enjoyed the way they did Hardlines, where you can spend money to unlock the guns that you needed. I like that. I actually would prefer if Hardlines had existed before Battlefield 4. But I really do wish that they could focus more on proper weapons customization. I mean, obviously this is World War I, so you could argue that they didn't have that many weapon selections back in those days in terms of, modding them. But still, I hope that the next Battlefield, whatever era it takes place in, I can actually really customize my guns a lot deeper.
Sup in the chat?
Ooh, there's a lot of people down here. This is not gonna end well.
So the other thing that they've been doing lately in Battlefield 1 is trying to tackle grenade spam, which has been a problem for years.
It's been a problem, definitely. It's even more of a problem here in this particular few maps, especially in the next one that we go to, Fort de Vaux. That one is nothing but close quarters combat and shotgun and grenade fest. But, I mean, it fits towards the map.
Yeah, it's interesting. Late in Battlefield 4, they started getting good at underground bunkers, which is great, and I think it was a good addition to Battlefield.
Right.
But then they started running into the problem of people putting down those ammo crates and just the infinite grenade spam that came from, like, 32 players all throwing grenades into a hole at once. And that wasn't particularly fun. So I'm glad they're finally tackling grenade spam. I think the changes they're trying to make right now are the ammo crate does not resupply grenades at anywhere near the rate it used to.
Mm-hmm.
And you only get, I think, 1 grenade now instead of 2. So you feel like you have a fighting chance and you're actually in a shooting war, not just a grenade tossing war.
Right. Cool, we're taking A. That's what I'm talking about. I really do love the new maps, though. Like, the new maps are really gorgeous. You couldn't be able to tell right now because of the fog, but hopefully we'll move further up the mountain here. So, I guess the history behind this battle, which really took place, is in Verdun, the German army launched 1 million artillery shells on Verdun. Sorry. And it literally leveled the place. I think they had a barrage going on for about 6 or 9 hours. And I think one of the devs there at the event told us that, I think the math-wise, is that means they dropped, I think they said 60 shells every minute. So imagine that. You're in the trenches, and for 6 to 9 hours, you're getting held by 60 shells a minute. I don't know how it could I don't know how anyone could possibly walk away from something like that.
They were just, landscaping.
Yeah, they just wanted to make some, renovations.
Just rearrange this entire country's hillside and mountains and flat areas. Because that's what you do.
You can see me. Bring me back, medic.
Everyone is playing Battlefield 1 who has premium right now. It's interesting. Some of the competing franchises like Titanfall have gone the Rainbow Six Siege route where they don't want to split up their community, so they're not charging for DLC.
I mean, I like that. I mean, I definitely, anytime you don't have to pay for DLC, I think it's always a win. So,
I feel like there's pros and cons to that.
Oh, Jesus.
What? That guy was asleep.
I don't, yeah, really. That's another beef I have with this game, is that whenever you go into a charge, it takes a few seconds to get out of it, and a few seconds in a Battlefield game is like death. So I'm lucky he didn't see me.
What do you guys think in the chat about free DLC but maybe less of it, or paid DLC with more of it? And how that splits or doesn't split communities.
Damn, he headshot me on that one. Oh, sniper did.
I will also say the community test environment, which you can get into if you own premium on PC, they've changed it a little bit now, so you still have to earn the guns. The older community test, they just gave people the guns to test. And now we fired up community test environment to play with the weapons, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago. And they made it so you still have to unlock the weapons in community test as well.
Fog is killing me here.
Blue Red saying nothing but cons when he split the community.
That is true.
Particularly late in a game's life cycle. Was kind of hoping that yeah, I think people are hoping for some single player content too. It's interesting. I think single player is so expensive to produce. That's why it's pretty unusual for them in a multiplayer game like this.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I would rather them focus on. God damn it! I'd rather them focus on the multiplayer than any single player aspect, because as fun as single player can be, it's just I would rather them to fine tune the multiplayer if anything else.
Yeah, in the chat, people seem to agree. Paid story expansion, but free multiplayer maps, so you don't split up your community. I was hoping that crossplay would solve a lot of these problems, actually, because with crossplay, then I mean, it was one of those things when Microsoft talked about for a while, but I don't think they've really delivered on. Because with crossplay, as communities wane later on in a game's life cycle, you're not dividing your community between consoles and PC or consoles and other consoles. You're just sort of getting everybody in one place. I mean, I think it's hard to get a match in Titanfall on PC right now. It can take 5 or 7 minutes just to get my first match in the day.
The community on Titanfall for at least PC has kind of disappointingly dropped off, which really I think that isn't fair, unfortunately, for that game.
Taken the sector.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I think it's also at the same time it's hard to keep a PC community like hooked on a particular type of game for a long period of time, just because there's a lot more like offers, I think, on PC than there is on console.
Greengrass Games, what's the point of this stream? Follow-up question by Tecker. So, is this DLC worth it? I think you both have answered your own question. We are streaming. This is out on Premium right now. We had about 8 hours with the game and all the new weapons, some of which are probably not unlocked for people who just started playing in Premium, so we can answer questions about that. In terms of is it worth it?
I think, to be honest with you, I think it is worth it. It's definitely one of the better DLCs that have come out for any Battlefield game in my recent memory for a while. It's just, you gotta know what you're paying for here. I mean, if you are getting a new mode, you're getting 4 new maps. What the? Jesus. Thank God that guy can't.
He freaked out, fired all over the place.
I definitely gotta get rid of the bayonet. I think it's worth it, but then again, I'm also a Battlefield nut. So, but you got 4 new maps, you got a brand new mode, front lines, and you got new weapons. So,
new tank, new Behemoth.
You have a siege cannon now.
Siege cannon. Ooh. And a melee class trench raider. Although I will say the trench raider who's melee focus can still be one-shotted by a bayonet charge.
Right.
Which seems so odd to me that the elite classes can get bayonet charged.
Okay.
Particularly one who is melee focused.
Looks like they're going to hold us off here.
My attitude about Premium since Battlefield 3 and 4 is wait for the general release. You're not really missing out.
Right.
The forts which dominate this region that protect
we got someone on chat.
Yeah, I got someone on chat. I gotta mute them. Unfortunately, it doesn't give me the option to do
we had
that.
A question about what operation you were playing.
The Devil's Anvil. This is the brand new map. So now we're gonna go to Fort de Vaux. So now this is going to be a close quarters match. This is the last stronghold you get to fight in the game, or in this map, so it should be pretty good.
You're going to have to mute the 12-year-old on chat.
Oh, I will. Believe me. They weren't talking earlier.
Oh, yeah, so Battlefield, I'm a huge Battlefield fan, and I have played through all of them since 2 pretty much. But I gotta say, I usually am not playing by the time the last DLC drops.
Neither am I.
I usually peter out by then. So if you just buy the DLCs individually, you save that $15 on the last DLC, which you're probably never gonna play anyway.
I just don't see in any game, not just Battlefield, the notion to get, the premium pass or whatever they call it, whatever the other games call their DLC stuff. It's just, I just don't see a point in it, especially if I can just buy it separately. So,
Yeah, Techler's saying I remember getting all the DLC in Battlefield 4 and ended up only playing all the vanilla maps. And that's also because the way that the playlist working for was if you didn't own certain DLCs, you couldn't enter playlists. Mute that angry little man.
there we go. Silence. And just in case, I'll mute everybody else. Oh, he doesn't have a mic. Cool. We're good. All right.
Yeah, so the way that the playlist worked, where basically if you didn't own all the DLC, you couldn't even get into a playlist that included those DLCs, so that further divided the community in a way that I think was not beneficial to that game.
No, it wasn't at all.
How many new weapons? Technically 5.
Yeah, technically 5. So let's actually just take a look quickly. So we got new shotgun, new machine gun, and let's see.
Technically it's an LMG for the assault class and a shotgun for the assault class.
And then we got a new rifle.
DMR.
Yep. And
Which is a 2 to 3 shot kill at medium range, and if you can handle the recoil, actually pretty powerful. I mean, you were having a good time with it.
Mm-hmm. We got a new light
The
light
Chauchet.
machine gun, the Chauchet. And finally,
It's a hard-hitting, low ammo count LMG.
and a new sniper rifle.
And the Lebel.
Well, model 1886 sniper rifle, which is definitely one of the more better sniper rifles you can get out there currently. So,
Although interesting, I'd like to hear what the chat thinks about sniper rifles in Battlefield 1, because before this, all the Battlefield games had a lot. There was a lot of bullet drop on sniper rifles. They were way less friendly, which I kind of liked because it took a lot more skill to use them. Oh, that's the high-level mace that you finally got.
I finally got the high-level mace. Ah, God. So a new thing they've done here now is that on some of these maps, not all of them, when the attacking team or defending team goes to their next round, or so for the attackers, their next wave of enemies or no reinforcements, they don't get a Behemoth on this one anymore. All the elite kits become available to them. So the flamethrower, the trench raider, all those guys become available to be used by this team. And when you take them down once, they just spawn back later in about, I would say, 3 or 4 minutes. So, like, for example, there's one of them right there.
Make an attempt to go find the trench raider.
I want to, but he's on their team. So I'm going to, hopefully maybe I can sneak behind enemy lines and grab him.
If you want to go and watch our preview of everything in this DLC, we made a pretty extensive one. And I challenge you to watch our kill cam and look at all of the YouTubers who we killed.
Yep.
I know we killed Doom.
I got Stone Mountain 64 a couple times.
Happy to say I killed IGN a bunch of times. Haha.
Yeah. Shot James in the face a couple times.
I accidentally shot you a few times.
You did when you were on the other team, but I think I definitely shot you a couple times too, but you were incognito.
I killed Neebs. I was really excited. I liked that guy a lot, and I enjoyed killing him. Throwing the question back to us, what do you think about the current state of season passes and DLC?
I can't stand them, to be honest with you. Like, I personally believe just send out the DLC separately. There's no reason to get a pass because at the end of the day, you're going on the notion of you may or may not like this. But hey, that's okay. Just throw over $50. Trust us. And it's just like I never find myself playing the last bit of DLC on any game, Battlefield or anything. So it's really more so I'd rather pay the money for the DLC separately. That's how I feel about it.
For those of you just joining us, we are streaming They Shall Not Pass for Battlefield 1, out now for people with premium, 2 weeks otherwise. Give us a thumbs up if you want to see us stream more Battlefield, or you can talk to us about Mass Effect Andromeda, the first mission, tomorrow multiplayer. We also played a bunch of Ghost Recon Wildlands. We're willing to talk about any of the recent shooters. And back to the question, state of current DLC. So I will give an unpopular answer, but I think that devs... So I think games have been $50 to $60 for over a decade now. Mm-hmm. I think devs have realized that they can't develop a game for that price, a AAA title for that price. So I think they're finding a lot of different ways to make money and not raise the price of games. So realistically, the base price of a game's probably more like $80 these days. So I got two minds on that. Either they should charge more money up front and then never charge for DLC so they don't split their community, or they're going to do what they're doing now, which is charge regular price up front and make you pay for DLC. Or the third option with what they're doing with Titanfall is, and Rainbow Six Siege, is they'll sell you the game at full price, and then they'll give you free DLC with microtransactions, but it'll be way less than if you just paid $15 for each one of them. So that was the long, complex answer for, I think games have cost $60 for too long, and I don't think developers can make AAA titles for $60 a pop anymore. So you're going to see a lot of different business models thrown in.
I mean, I know it's kind of a long shot, but if you're going to demand a season pass from me and say we're gonna have all these great modes, we're gonna have all this great stuff, give me an idea of what I'm getting. Like, don't try to sell me on the idea of just trust us. It's like, no, I mean, just like, even if it's just concept art. Like when we attended the Battlefield event, they showed just concept art of the new modes they're looking at, and it got me intrigued. Like, I'm like, cool, that's awesome. But I never would have known that at all, period, when this game first came out, about any of this stuff. So it's more like the idea of, if you guys have this planned out or semi-planned out, let the community know up front. Let us know what it is that we're getting, and or at least give us an idea of that, so that you can justify the charge of like premium or asking for premium. So, but yeah, I definitely agree that games today, because of just budgets-wise and just how, especially AAA titles, cost so much to make and the amount of years it takes. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not gonna. I can definitely see them having to cost more. I think the Tretch Raider's in here. I think I just saw him.
I mean, I think the fear is that
that's him.
Yep. I think the fear is that they would charge more and then keep charging for DLC, which would kind of come across as a bit greedy. Oh
God, no.
Oh,
damn it.
Well, you found him.
I found him.
There he is.
Yep, that's him. He's an instant melee killer. He doesn't do any animations whatsoever. He hits you once and you die automatically. He's basically, you run to a group of enemies and play like whack-a-mole. You just kill everybody automatically with one swing. So, but you can bayonet him. That's what I tried to do. So, which is also kind of funny. An elite class character built only for melee can be bayoneted automatically.
Fire Bucket says, "Ah, my childhood." I'm assuming you are saying your father had a trench mace and ran around beating you with it.
We'll just leave that there. Let's see where. Yeah, so right now the defending team has all the elite kits right now, which is why it's taking my team quite a while to even move up here and take any of this stuff.
Some sentiment in the chat. I'm not mad that games cost $60. I'm mad that developers think that it's okay to take content out of their game just to sell it back to us as DLC.
Oh, that's an elite. I mean, some games have done that, if not, more recently. So I would definitely agree that that's definitely a pretty kind of shady way to do things. Which, once I say again, hey, if you guys are going to do it, just be upfront about it. Like, show us the content that we're getting for what we're paying for. If you're asking for that DLC, give us a bit of a content idea of what we're going to get or what we're spending our money on. So, because just as it's tough for developers to make these games in terms of cost, it's also tougher for the consumer to spend the money on games just because of the times. Just saying.
I think the most damaging trend to games recently was the Destiny effect, where people started feeling like they have to do endgame content. And the thing with endgame content, when it's done, well, the way that I've seen it done recently with Division and a couple other games, I just feel like they just ripped the guts out of the main game and just kind of stuck it on the head of the game. So you basically play a hollow game and then you get to the content that was supposed to be in the game itself.
Right.
That's what I don't like right now. I don't like the idea that you're supposed to have all this endgame content, and I think that takes away from just having a really strong core experience in some of these games.
Fight well, go!
Fire Bucket's disputing the fact that he was beaten with a trench mace as a child. So I feel better now. He just meant that games cost a lot. Full dock of games that cost so much. I mean, look, this is a crazy month, and most people don't have hundreds of dollars to just spend wherever they feel like it. You've got Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda Breath of the Wild, you got Battlefield 1 DLC, you got Mass Effect Andromeda, Ghost Recon Wildlands.
You have the Switch console itself.
Man, it just depends on your budget right now and what you're looking for. I mean, there's pretty much everything you want is out this month. And it's a tough choice, because you're probably not going to be able to
burn you.
buy all of them / get through all of them.
Losing objective
Oh, there he
Butter.
is.
We have
He's like a
taken
phantom.
objective apples.
It is actually pretty terrifying to be running around in close quarters with him running around in here. So, because he doesn't go into any type of melee animation. He just one swing kills you. So
Question if this was in the running for Game of the Year. Yes. Last year.
last year, yeah, it made it to my top 10. Like,
Absolutely.
it was definitely one of the best Battlefield games I've played in quite a while.
This Battlefield 1 is a return to the basics of what made Battlefield great.
Yes. Very.
For older Battlefield fans, they're still going to want more vehicle-focused stuff. I think Battlefield has drifted to infantry focus to sort of please a larger population over time. Which I don't know. As long as you have a good mix and I can play Battlefield where I want to.
Ah, damn, that's gonna get me. Yep.
Well, here's a good question. So I feel like a lot of games have they bland themselves out with DLCs. Like the last Titanfall DLC was not Titan focused. In my mind, that's just taking a game that does something amazing and doing something broadly appealing, but not what the game does best. So Battlefield, the thing that used to make Battlefield so unique was the large vehicle-focused maps, right?
Right.
So I'm sure you'll find a mix of opinions out there, but do you guys like the infantry-focused maps? Because I know a lot of people just end up playing them.
God.
Or do you wish Battlefield would sort of jettison that player base and just go back to the large vehicle-focused maps?
All right, we're on the hunt for this guy now. Whoa, that guy was lagging all over the place.
Other questions in the chat. If people grew up with the SNES or NES consoles, were games felt more complete when they launched? They feel like they're getting subpar games now. I mean, to be fair, I think there were some awful games for SNES and NES,
We have lost
just like any other console. But they didn't have the option of fixing it in post. It's the old George Lucas approach. And I think that might be what hurts games at launch now is the fact that they're online. People,
Oh, there he is.
developers,
Come on.
can
come on.
afford to just fix it in post. Man, he is
He is-
sprightly.
he is-
Look at that man.
Yeah, there we
Oh,
go. That's right.
Nice. You were about to run out of that sprint.
That was what I'm like. If he turns around right when I'm running out of sprint, he's just gonna hit me in the face. Yeah, that's right.
20 of our soldiers remain.
That felt good. Oh man, we're fighting for B. There's only one guy. No, two guys on B. Come on, guys.
We got a request in the chat for your KD.
We will see that in a moment. Nice. So yeah, that was the first operations map. And on that map, that was Fort de Vaux. Or as we would say it here in the States,
Fort de Vaux.
Fort de Vaux.
I'm going to go play on Fort de Vaux.
In late June, literally dying of thirst.
So these are the two maps that are, one of them is medium-sized hill map on fire, looks beautiful. Fort de Vaux is
Close quarters.
Close quarters.
All
and then,
close quarters.
So the other two maps, which we'll take a look at in a bit, are the two larger maps.
Which goes back to what you were talking about, vehicle focused. One of the maps is literally a tank assault. Like it's the attacking team has 6 tanks when they reach a certain point in the operations, certain area that they conquer, and the defending team, when they reach their last objective, last defensive line, they have 2 artillery cannons, those new siege cannons, and I think they have around 7 or 8 howitzer cannons, those placement ones that they can use against the tanks. It is a full-on tank battle. So let's see. People requested to see the KD.
Brillium's asking, why not just charge $100 for multiplayer games, given it'll take you hundreds of hours to get through it? Follow-up in the chat was not willing to pay $100 for a game. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people did pay $100 for Battlefield 1. They bought the special edition, which did not even come with premium.
Yep.
Which we actually realized when we went to go stream. We're like, oh, we got the like highest edition, so we can totally do this. And we realized that it did not come with premium, even though we did spend over $100 per copy. So that's a little sketchy in my mind.
That is very sketchy. And that even goes back to the idea of all the DLC special edition packs that are coming out now, where you get the statue, you get like for Mass Effect Andromeda, you get the little RC car, but you don't get the game. You spend like $200, but you don't get the game.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Fire Bucket. Yeah, thank you for talking about No Man's Sky. Honestly, I gotta say, like, I've been here at GameSpot for a long time, and sometimes a game changes the way I think about things. I think after No Man's Sky, I have been a hell of a lot more careful about talking about what is in a game when I see a build, as opposed to what a developer gives me in terms of their ambition of what they want in a game.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think No Man's Sky is still putting out content and slowly building towards the game they originally said they were going to have at launch. They just got a vehicle DLC in there. They have their
broader base builder option now.
Base building. They have their dreadnoughts. I still think No Man's Sky needed a lot more story missions, though. I think there was just one main story quest. Well, two, technically. Go to the center of the universe. And the, I'm blanking on the name right now. The, like, crystal ball quest line.
Yeah, whatever that was. And the ending was... the ending was something else.
The ending was...
what I heard.
Go back to the beginning.
Yeah, go back to the beginning. Congratulations.
Soissons.
This is the map that will be all vehicle focus based. So
these are my favorite maps because they appeal to the older Battlefield base.
I don't know if anyone out there has ever played Bad Company 2, but if you remember Eureka Harbor, that map, where the beginning of that match started with a tank battle, and then worked its way to vehicle versus infantry, and then medium to long range infantry shooting in the streets, and then the last objective area was all infantry close quarters. So those are the kind of maps I really love, and I can kind of tell they're trying to pull that off a little bit here. Okay, so we're
over in Twitch, Biebertond is saying, you like to be patient. He'll just take his time and wait for games to go on sale and buy them later, which I think that works for a lot of games except for some multiplayer games. For example, Titanfall, you might have the player base drop off by that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we also live in the Steam era where you can probably just be patient and eventually pick it up on a Steam sale for a hell of a lot cheaper.
Right. Okay, we're getting people in slowly, but let's take a look at what we're up against. Oh yeah. Now I kind of want to try to go to the assault team because they're the ones that are going to have all the tanks. So we definitely want to see that.
I think No Man's Sky, if they'd sold it at indie price, like $30, and promised low, people would have been really impressed with that game.
Do you feel like it was an indie game to you?
It was an indie game. I think it was.
Because they really tried to sell the game off as a AAA title.
Yeah, but it was a small dev team. I mean, those guys, they I don't know what happened. They probably got swept up in just the selling of the console was the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And they delivered their vision of what they wanted the game to be, and then they delivered that about a year too early.
Yeah. No, it I always will kind of remember. Come on now. I want to get over to the tanks. There we go.
Got some love in the chat for Bad Company 2. Still my absolute favorite Battlefield of all time.
It is one of the best ever. So good on you, whoever said that.
Also taking questions from the Twitch chat. For those of you just joining us, we are streaming They Shall Not Pass DLC from Battlefield 1. You can play it right now if you have premium.
Hello.
In about 2 weeks, you should be able to buy it individually, which is my recommended way of doing it. If you're still playing Battlefield. Like, subscribe for our channel if you want to stream more Battlefield. And hey, we don't just talk about Battlefield. We would love to talk to you about, again, we're playing Mass Effect Andromeda right now. We played through Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Horizon Zero Dawn
Horizon
recently.
Zero Dawn, yeah. We can chat about any or all of those.
I think definitely one of the things that people are kind of concerned about this DLC is the guns. And as I stated earlier, the guns in this DLC, they're cool, but by no means, if you're a gun nut, are they going to, I think, satisfy that itch for like new, better weapons? Because aside from my experience, the new automatic shotgun they have, it's not bad. The new medic rifle is really cool too, but the rest of the guns, they're just not that great.
Question, how much did this add? So
it added 2 new operations maps. So
new mode,
battle, front lines, and 6 new weapons, along with new tanks, 1 new tank, and a new siege cannon. Oh, and a new Behemoth.
I like front lines. It's basically rush in 2 directions.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I like about that tug of war style Whoa.
Whoa,
Wow,
whoa.
whoa. Yep, you got airplanes
Oh,
now.
that was a plane. That's right.
Yeah, I like tug of war style games because you can play on the same map and go two completely different directions and not play the same game twice.
Mm-hmm. So this is where your request for more heavily armored vehicles. Well, the attacking team gets 6 tanks.
Yeah. See if you can get the new tank. There it is. It's over the left.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can grab one.
We got some love in the chat from Blue Red for 1942.
That was good.
And AJ Taurus. Yeah, I fired up 42 for a segment we did, I don't know, maybe last year. And man, you might not remember, but now that game looks like an iPhone game.
Oh man, it is. It's hard to look at.
It is crazy
it is
how far.
Really painful to look at. Like I never had a gaming PC at the time when that game came out, but I jumped into it for nostalgia's sake. I think maybe 3 years ago, and it was hard to look at then. So.
Question if we can play with the new sniper rifle. Unfortunately, we have not unlocked it here, but
we played it at the event.
If you head over to our YouTube channel or GameSpot.com, we did a preview with everything in the DLC from the 8-hour event we went to, in which I have a bunch of footage of the new sniper rifle, and you can check it out there.
It's good. It's a good sniper rifle. If you're like the SML-E MK3, if you're a fan of that sniper rifle, you're going to love the new sniper rifle, the Lebel model 1886, I think it's called.
AJ Torres saying they honestly should just do DLC like Rainbow Six Siege and raise the price of the game by $10 or $20. I would prefer that. I just think that'd be a more honest way to sell these games.
I would too. Provided, once again, that we get even the slightest bit of an idea of what we could be getting. Because even when Siege came out, they kind of showcased, new operators, new stuff. They gave you an idea. I never got an idea of what the kind of new modes or new maps are going to be coming with this DLC or for this game, and until just very recently in the coming months. So it's just like, just give us an idea, like let us know, and I'll be happy to pay that money over if it intrigues me enough.
And if I go back and play this DLC, I'm not going to worry about unlocking guns. I've learned the hard way over the years that trying to unlock things in Battlefield is the worst way to play Battlefield. It's the least fun way to play Battlefield because it just encourages bad habits. Mm-hmm. It encourages you to do the same thing over and over again, which has nothing to do with the objective or the mode. So I just play Battlefield these days, and if I unlock something cool, and if I don't unlock something, whatever. I want to enjoy my time.
I'm waiting for a tank to spawn back, but what's interesting is that we have... Ooh, wow, we just got 5 tanks. Okay, cool. So here we go. So the assault class tank has 3 different types. So we have the field assault tank, which is your basic tank. It has a 75mm cannon. It can go pretty decently toe-to-toe with other tanks. The gas assault tank is great for close quarters combat with infantry when you're trying to capture a point. My favorite is the standoff assault tank. It has a much more powerful cannon. It has lighter armor, but I actually prefer this tank, so let's give this one a...
That one also has the searchlight, which I didn't have a chance to use.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to use it
Maybe,
either.
do you want to just pop the pigeon attack here, just to show people what that looks like?
I don't know if I have the pigeon one available, actually, for this one.
Oh, on this variant?
Yeah,
so
he has the smoke.
Well, maybe the gas one?
I have the searchlight, though.
Oh, okay, cool. You have the searchlight on this one.
Yeah.
The gas one, I think, is the one where you can fire a pigeon out, and it'll drop artillery all around the tank, kind of like the single-player campaign, in case you're being overrun. We didn't find it to be super useful because usually...
Yeah!
Nice.
There we go.
you blew that plane out of its own skin.
The game does not acknowledge the fact that you can shoot down a plane with a tank.
Hello to people just joining us. How are you doing? We're playing some They Shall Not Pass for Battlefield 1.
Oh, what was that?
Anti-tank mine.
Anti-tank mine, you bastard.
You should have brought more armor. Well, if you get a chance, go back, hit it again. Let's show them the pigeon strike.
Pigeon strike.
Bird strike. There it is.
There it is.
Show them the bird strike. We're just going to do it in a field so you guys can see it.
Oh, actually, I'm going to do it like... All right, so now, so if you send out a pigeon... Fly, pigeon, fly.
And the bird's like, calling in artillery right here. Right here, artillery.
Yeah. I mean, it does damage you, but it's great for killing infantry that's around you. So if you rush into an enemy capture point by yourself and you're surrounded by infantry, then you pop this thing.
You think the pigeon speaks Morse code? He just flies in and goes like, boop, 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 bok, 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 bok. And then they know where to put the artillery.
Sure.
We're gonna go with that. It's historically accurate.
We're gonna go with that one.
In World War I, they taught pigeons to speak Morse code because they have no other way to communicate.
I'm sure that's what your ancestor was back in World War II.
We have secured.
It's like I have a brilliant idea. Nope. Gonna aim up a little higher.
We're having an issue in our office where we bought Rainbow Six Siege and our firewall blocks that game.
Yeah, well, you play.
So we're playing the DLC called "You Can't Play This Game in Your Office." It's probably better for my productivity anyway.
Get you distracted. Oh no! Stop!
Hey, what's with GameSpot? It's not even a spot. It's a website. It could be a spot on the web.
The name was created back in 1997, guys. Who knows anymore? Do you know?
It's a place where we have spots.
Ooh, so that guy just called in the pigeon strike on himself, and it looks like he killed himself.
Can you pigeon strike the building?
I could probably get next to the building and pigeon strike it. Oh wait, there's a guy right here. Nope, he's dead. Team's kicking butt. They're just kicking ass and taking names
You took
here.
objective butts.
Oh, artillery tank. Hold on.
From enemy presence.
You little bastard.
So one thing that's interesting, Ghost Recon Wildlands, there's a big gun collection system. And when I play a game like Wildlands, it just makes me miss Battlefield. Because DICE, for any criticism I've had over the years, they do guns really well, and they understand how to make guns unique, with spread, recoil, first shot recoil, standing versus crouching accuracy, different attachments. I mean, I don't think there's a game quite like Battlefield in terms of just the variety and feeling of different weapons through not just making bullets more powerful, which I think is a cop-out these days, but actual manipulation of the gun stats and mechanics themselves.
Right.
That's what I've always loved about Battlefield.
I've always loved Battlefield for... Seriously, I can't go through a concrete wall. I always loved Battlefield for kind of putting me in that moment of actually being in a war or an actual battle. So it's that type of immersion that really makes me really a fan of the Battlefield series.
Have a good day, Fire Bucket.
So see you around. But yeah, that's how I've been enjoying it. Okay, I really want to...
So actually, throw this back out to the chat. David is saying Battlefield 4 is my favorite game. Please live stream that, please. My question is, was Battlefield 4 your first Battlefield game? Because I feel like if Battlefield 4 was your first Battlefield game, that would be the best game you'd ever played. It's a little bit more complicated, I think, for people with like a longer history of Battlefield.
Oh, there's the artillery cannon.
To be honest, I'm really jealous of people who Battlefield 1 is their first Battlefield game they ever played.
Is this guy gonna... Fly,
no,
pigeon!
There's the artillery
fly,
cannon.
pigeon, fly!
Oh, you about to get pigeons.
See, I can't move. I feel like you should be able to move if you call that thing.
Did you hit anybody with that pigeon strike?
I think everybody died, actually.
They died from the awesome power of your pigeon.
Just like this guy's
Oh, that guy,
die.
like...
So yeah, this is the siege cannon.
Can you take it?
I could take it. But I kind of want to... It's not going to matter.
Nah.
But yeah, that thing... I would say one shell shot, even near a tank, is going to disable it automatically. A direct hit will destroy it. So... I gotta be honest though, as fun as that map is, like vehicle-wise, it's a little unbalanced, considering that the attacking team has 6 tanks, aircraft, and 2 horses. And the defending team only gets those 2 siege cannons and that wall of howitzer cannons until their last base. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Bye to Uppermost King. Thanks for joining us. Bad Company 2. Yeah, I think a lot of people started with Bad Company 2. I think there was a generation of people that started with Bad Company 2.
My first Battlefield game was actually Modern Combat back on the Xbox, like the original Xbox. But Bad Company 2 is when the series really kind of reached its high point for me, and it was also the first game, the second one to really improve the destruction and full building collapse. That was so satisfying when you plant C4 charges in the corner of a building when you know people are upstairs or on the roof, and you detonate and you just watch the building crumble and you take them down with you. It's awesome.
Bronson Hammer saying, now it's just teaching you how to play the game. I don't want an 8-hour tutorial. Funny you should mention that because we were streaming the first chapter of Mass Effect Andromeda today. Mass Effect Andromeda. That's how I felt. I felt like it was an 8-hour tutorial.
The first 2 hours is a little rough from your experience that you were telling me.
It is a very long tutorial. We can't talk about anything after that at this point. We can talk about multiplayer tomorrow. Call of Duty was my first Battlefield game. Call of Duty is an arcade shooter, but
get out.
Modern Warfare 2 was excellent. I mean, I cannot take away what that one did.
Modern Warfare was awesome. Yeah. Modern Warfare 2 was good too, but that's when it kind of started getting stale for me, especially when the perks system that you were unlocking was getting a little ridiculous, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of people love that stuff. I can't stand it.
Question, so the other armies have the assault tanks and new weapons to take out the assault tanks?
The assault tanks are just very much like regular tanks. Like, your best bet is to get your assault class character and just shoot the tanks on their sides. The way that the assault tanks are built, they can actually deflect shells from the front and back a lot better. So you're going to hear that quing noise a lot more often if you're shooting at the front of these tanks. But on the sides of these assault tanks, they're a lot more vulnerable. So because we took out this team without them ever taking out one platoon of our guys, they now have their Behemoth, which is the brand new, I can't remember the name of it, the C something, CR or whatever. It's
the CR big ass tank.
Yeah, the CR kick your ass tank is what this freaking thing is. So it is a gigantic tank where it can house 5 other players, and that cannon on board literally can destroy any tank with 2 shots. Full health, doesn't matter. That thing can take you out. So, and go figure, it's being piloted by Boba Fett.
Yeah. That makes me happy for some reason.
That guy really wanted to get in.
Man, I suck with this medic gun.
I love it.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know how you pull this thing off. It's getting the
love
cadence down. That's what those DMRs are all about.
If you know what?
Char 2C. There you go.
Yep. There we go. The Char 2C. Yeah, that thing is a beast. So at the preview event that we attended, I got a chance to use it in one of the matches. It is a nightmare to turn that thing. So it's definitely one of those tanks or one of those vehicles you just want to kind of park it somewhere and just hold the enemy off as best you can. Like this guy right here, I can tell he's having a difficult time driving it. He's trying to back up now, so.
Zombie said his first game was Battlefield 3. So I think we have a good mix. People started at Bad Company 2, Bad Company 1, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 4.
I saw one person in the chat say their first one was Battlefield Vietnam. So, he had 3 health, come on.
He started back in Nam. Assault hype. Bronson Hammers, I guess, likes assault. The new assault weapon is actually a support weapon. So if you like playing assault,
so this is the one right here. So, how do you say it?
Rebels?
The rebels.
I can't do I took Spanish in school, not French, so I can't do the rolling R's in the top of my throat. The rebels.
Oh, we're gonna get rushed here in a second.
We're just call it the ribeye rolls.
There's a guy there. Whoop, there's a tank.
Yeah, this map does look nice. I mean, these maps are gorgeous. I cannot take that away from Battlefield 1. It is a gorgeous game. And also things like the dirt on your guns when you roll around.
The mud.
And
the detail.
The craters. Oh, I love it.
I love how these flowers have me semi-camouflaged.
We already got questions about the next DLC.
So the next DLC actually takes place in Russia. So you actually be fighting for the Tsar, from what we were told. They actually announced this, I think 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so the next DLC will take place in the snowy mountains. So there's gonna be a lot of snow maps. So yes, so you'll be playing as the Russians. The next one will be a more like a D-Day style type of map where it's gonna be a lot of ship focus and beach landings. I think it'll be storming Italy. God, I can't think of the name of the place. And then the last one will be, they call it Apocalypse, and I have no idea what could be going on in that one.
That's the one you probably won't play.
Yeah, that's the one by then I probably
Nobody
won't give
ever
a damn.
plays the last DLC.
Nope. Because by then you're kind of like, you've had your full. It's like, I'm done, guys.
It's been a year or more at that point.
I got better games. The next Battlefield's coming. Move on. So, as I said before earlier, you got to be careful how to drive this thing because, as you can see, they have their Behemoth stuck.
We got love. Sorry. It is stuck. That's its weakness, is it's slow and it can get overrun easily.
It can get overrun really easy. It's a big target, but I have seen people, use it in a much more sophisticated way. Like you want to stay in the back of your base when you're using this tank. Don't ever charge the enemy in this tank. I know you may feel like you're a fucking badass in a huge tank, but you get overrun on that thing and you get destroyed. You can self-heal like you do in a regular tank, but the healing cycle is very long, and as you know, if you get shot at by anything, your healing cycle resets. So
Still being piloted by Boba Fett.
nope, this time it's being piloted by SK000000.
We are looking at the new Behemoth right now.
I have nothing to hit him with. Nothing. Oh wait, so actually my melee can actually damage vehicles.
Really?
I think it said so. I think it's lying.
This is gonna go well for you.
This is
I
good.
can
This is
tell.
going great. I feel invincible. God, you know what? I'm gonna go up here.
This is effective.
Yeah, totally didn't do that, but I'll take the credit. By the way, this is the whoa.
Yeah.
Guess we can also show one of the legendary melee weapons you can get if you collect all the puzzle pieces.
We got love for your, what is that, your level 10 assault gun?
Yes, that is the. God, I can't even think of the name of it.
The good gun.
The gun that everybody wanted.
I got a chance at the event finally to mess around with the tiny gun.
Here we go. So here's the new club. This is the legendary club. I can't think of the name of it, but it looks like if you ever got hit in the face with that thing, it could, probably
hurt.
scramble your brains.
Is this out on PS4 yet or not? Should be out for premium for everybody.
If you have premium, it is available to you. For everybody else, I think it's coming out, about a week or two from now? Oh, another tank that's stuck. What is with this team getting stuck?
Ninja wants to know what your favorite gun is in Battlefield 1 so far.
That actually depends on what. I think I can answer that better by the character, by the character class. I would definitely say. Let me quickly show here. I would definitely say the Hell Regel for my assault class is my favorite. I can't see the name of them. This is actually the level 10 gun. So, oh boy, I can't say this name. I'm going to butcher it if I say it.
Sylvester?
Sylvester 1906 Factory is one of my favorite guns.
Oh, that's a Sleb Slaughter. Schleb Slaughter?
Sleb Slaughter.
The Sleb Slaughter?
It operates like an M1 Grand. I really like this gun. Then you got the Lewis gun, which is basically your starting weapon.
Click in there real quick. So I'm a support player. Oh, not just the Lewis gun. Back out one. The M1909 is... So I go between the M1909 and the Lewis gun, which honestly I've been through the entire unlock tree for support. I think those are the two best.
Yeah, as you can tell, I really don't care for support because I just don't like their guns. I just don't. And as for the sniper class, the SML MK3 infantry is my favorite, but I also like messing with some of the German rifles as well. Also, too, just for you guys just joining us, the Lebel model 1886 sniper rifle, which is one of the new guns. It's definitely worth your time going after. If you love sniping, you need to get this gun. It's worth your time going. So let's actually continue.
Most baffling unlock objective I've ever been given in Battlefield, which happens a lot for the support class. For some reason, they're obsessed with having you wound but not kill people. So getting assists. So basically, you're supposed to start shooting somebody and then not kill them and then let somebody else on your team kill them. Which is baffling because you could just keep shooting and kill them.
Yeah. So this is actually an interesting capture point. There's only one flag we have to capture, but because it's only one, that guy's dead. And his team's probably like, no! You were the last guy. You had one job.
Comment in the chat, they did have a blast with the Trench Raider.
The Trench Raider is pretty cool. I have yet to actually find where the Trench Raider kit is located, but I am glad I got a chance to kill him. Which, by the way, you can kill that guy with a single bayonet charge.
Throw that back out to the chat. What are your favorite guns in Battlefield 1 so far?
What are your favorites?
That's what I'm asking them. What are your favorites?
I mean, I really do like this style of Battlefield. You're not depending on drones. You're not depending on jets or heavy artillery. I mean, those games are really a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, but I really like games like this that require more. And I'm gonna say it's skill. Like you're not relying on using technology to get your kills. You're relying on just your rifle and your wits. So that's really what I like about Battlefield 1.
Evan Carl saying for his birthday he's getting an Xbox One and he wants to know if he should get Battlefield. It depends what kind of player you are. So if you are somebody who likes games that are almost sports, that's kind of how I see Battlefield. It is like playing pro soccer or something like that. It's a game where if you put a lot of time and energy into it, you can get very good and really have a great night. But if you slack off on your skills, like any sport, you start to suck and you have less of a good time. That's the way Battlefield works. So if you like competitive shooters, combined arms, yeah. I mean, Battlefield 1 is a solid title.
If you played any of the Battlefield games, you're going to find a lot to love about this one. I definitely stand by. This was one of my top 10 favorite games of last year. So it really is worth your time and money if you are a fan of first-person shooters.
I will say I'm also a huge fan of Titanfall. Titanfall 2 in particular.
Titanfall 2 is amazing.
Having played Battlefield for years, I'm just sort of taking a break and playing a lot of Titanfall, and I do not regret that decision. Titanfall 2 DLC is free, just like Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, there's less of it because it's free. But man, I love Titanfall. That game to me feels like no other game.
What's kind of upsetting, though, is that you had Battlefield and you had Titanfall 2 come out at pretty much the exact same time. And I don't think that did either game any favor whatsoever, especially Titanfall.
Yeah, they should have given them a couple of 4 or 5 months apart.
Easily. So I feel like either Battlefield or Titanfall should have come out first, and then the other game could have followed maybe because both games came out during the fall of last year. I think one game easily could have come out, I would say the beginning of the year. Give it about a good 3 months or so for the other game to gain a good audience, a good solid base, and the other game to get them pop out. But yeah, I feel like definitely Titanfall 2 got the lower end of the deal with that launch decision by EA. So here's hoping that the next Titanfall 3 will not have that same problem.
Question if your rig can play, I'm assuming Star Wars Battlefront. Can you play Battlefield 1 in terms of specs? Oh, I don't know how to answer that question. I did not like Star Wars Battlefront because I love Battlefield.
I hated it. I'm a fan of the classic Star Wars Battlefront that was made by LucasArts back when they were basically at the height of their creativity. And that Battlefront that EA created, it had its moments, but I can't stand those floating icons. Those floating icons,
just
man.
Mario Kart.
Those floating icons pull me out of it every single time. Why do I have to run all the way towards the enemy base just to get into one of my own fighters? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Particularly because they keep leaking footage of the Battlefront game that was never completed, and that looks so good.
It looks amazing because it was a sequel to Battlefront 2. So it's the footage they're showing out there that you can actually see on YouTube is Cloud City and Leia. You can play as Leia, and it's so many cool things that it never happened.
I wanted to play as Greedo, said nobody ever.
Yeah.
He's the dude who got shot in the face, in the chest, in the first movie, in the first 3 seconds. His power is getting shot.
Who shot first? We know.
Han Solo shot first.
We know the truth. I love how that's still debatable. Who shot first?
Evan said he's already playing Titanfall 2. Good on you. I love that game. Yeah, if you've already played Titanfall 2, then definitely get into Battlefield 1 if you feel like you've gotten your money's worth out of Titanfall 2. Or you could pop into Rainbow Six Siege. That's a whole different feel. Rainbow Six Siege, they started modest and they've been growing like crazy. I think it's gotten away from its tactical nature. It's definitely become a lot more Counter-Strike. Some people love that, though.
That's kind of what I think is helping their community grow a lot better, just because of the fact that they've completely changed their model of Siege, which I'm not a fan of. I really do miss the old tactical sense of it, where you had to pick your operator very carefully. You had to move, as a team and really plan up your objectives well. In the new version of Siege, you can pretty much pick any operator and just go in guns blazing. It'll be fine. So it kind of goes against what I pictured Siege was at the beginning when it first came out, but
That game kind of lost me when I threw a drone out to play the game the right way and people started flying out third-story windows onto my head.
yeah, they started Mario hopping killing you.
Yeah, I agree. Alexander's saying he doesn't like the fact you don't take off in the airplanes anymore. I agree. There's something that pulls me out of the game when I just spawn into an airplane.
Or like even when you spawn into a wall, or like you can't control the AT-AT. You're on a direct path every time, and it got to the point to where, at least when I was playing the game, where people knew where to avoid your AT-AT. Like they knew exactly how far you could shoot, what areas were exposed, and yeah, it just there's so many W2F moments with that game to me. So I'm really hoping that the new version doesn't have those same issues.
Also, I mean, they did that in Battlefield 1 too, where in Battlefield 1 you spawn in the airplanes, which I think takes away from meaningful objectives. Like if Objective C is the airfield, that has meaning, and when you just have people spawn into airplanes, it like kind of takes away the meaning of the objectives, right?
Or even like, let me just select it in the menu. Like, why do I have to go out looking for a floating icon, especially in the heat of a battle where my team needs the air support? I'm like, oh wait, hold on, I gotta go run out there and be lucky enough to bump into a floating icon that represents whatever vehicle I need. Like that just doesn't make sense to me.
Getting some loves from Evan, thanks. We appreciate you guys watching us. We play these games because honestly, we play these games
because we love these games.
This is pretty much what we do, and we enjoy having people do it with us. Jack Frags, what do you think about Jack Frags on YouTube? That guy's awesome. I've met him at several events. I actually watched YouTubers. So when we used to go to press events, it was pretty much all press, like us and IGN, Game Informer, Polygon, and then we've watched as YouTubers just basically make up more and more of events, and now we're outnumbered like 20-1 by YouTubers, but those guys are awesome, and I think it's amazing that they can make a living just with playing games like everybody else.
Yeah, I actually met Stone Mountain 64 for the first time at the Battlefield event that we attended, and what's great too is that these YouTubers, they're down to earth kind of people. Like they're not. Some of them, some YouTubers are I guess you could say the word, they're pretty high on themselves, but at least the YouTubers I've met at these events, they're down-to-earth people, they're really nice people, and it's just great to learn from them and just hear like their ideas and what they plan to do, so it's really awesome.
Guys like Angry Joe, man, he does things that I would like to do but just can't do anymore. That guy can show up to a game review 2 or 3 weeks late with a 45-minute piece, and you can't do that in game journalism. So in a way, YouTube has given him a platform to do some things that we can't do, which is really cool. I mean, I watch his reviews too.
I love his reviews. I'm not a big fan of his movie reviews. I feel like that's kind of like a new plethora for him, that it doesn't quite fit to the persona that I'm used to with him, but I do love his video. I love the fact he gets dressed up in costume and he gets into character and he does all these wacky crazy things, and he gives really good detailed reviews, just like a lot of journalist reviews that we do. So it's really entertaining to kind of watch that from him. So and you know what you're getting when you watch him too, so that's always fun.
It's funny actually, when I met Angry Joe at the Division press event, and I forget what it's like for somebody like that who gets approached by thousands of people a day. You go up to say hi to him, and you kind of get that he wants to be polite, but he's got to get somewhere without meeting 1,000 people on his way there.
Yeah,
the kind of thing that celebrities run into.
I think it's easier at these events because they know they're meeting other journalists, or they're meeting journalists and they're meeting other YouTubers. I would definitely say much more public events. Absolutely. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, nice to meet you. How you doing? I got to get the hell out of here.
Chris is asking if we could do some digging and find out if DICE will make Bad Company 3.
Hey, man, we've been asking for it for a while.
My impression is that they took a lot of the feedback for Bad Company 3 and they put it into Battlefield 1. We've been asking for Destruction. Battlefield 4's Destruction was awful compared to
it was horrendous. It was
Bad
terrible.
Company. And I think what DICE did, my impression is they took a lot of that feedback about Bad Company and they put it into Battlefield 1. Whether it's cost effective for them to actually make another Bad Company, I don't know. There's those of us who would love it and play the hell out of it. I don't know about the wider community. I mean, I'm sure that they're sitting there with some math equations. Because 3 and 4 sold a lot of copies.
It did, but 3 and 4 was such a scale back on the destruction. It hurt the game immensely. So yeah, those are the 2 new operations maps. The 4 new maps you can play on now. So yeah, I really enjoy them. I feel like CISOs needs a little work in terms of the balancing. I still don't understand why the attacking team gets 6 tanks while the defending team gets 2.
Plus artillery pieces.
Yeah, but you don't get those artillery pieces until you're at your last defensive base.
I always thought the Behemoths need a little bit of balancing in Battlefield 1 because when teams get good, especially the one in the airship, they would just destroy the AA guns, the flat guns on the ground, and then it was sort of lopsided.
I personally, the Behemoths now, with the tweaking they've been doing with those, I don't find them threatening anymore, especially the airship. The airship gets shot down so quick in my games, it's ridiculous.
BBAA is asking, do you like switching viewpoints between first and third person in Battlefront?
I like being in third person when I'm playing with friends or against AI, but I go first person when I'm playing competitively.
I don't think there's really any mechanical benefit to first person in Battlefront. I think you're just reducing situational awareness. I mean, games like Battlefield really do require aiming down sights.
Mm-hmm.
But Battlefront is just a arcade style toy action game.
It's just not great in my opinion. Like I'm a big Star Wars fan. I loved Battlefront 1 and 2 back when LucasArts did it. But this Battlefront, it's just not that great.
Uppermost is saying Battlefield 4 Levolutions were awful. I think I would revise that statement. I think they just didn't think about Phase 2 of a lot of those maps. They were so into the spectacle of a building falling down, for example, on Shanghai, that they didn't stop and make the second phase of the game as good as the first phase. So, like, the building should have fallen down and drained the harbor, or you fought through that building sideways, or something like as good, right? Phase 2 should have been as good as Phase 1.
Right.
And they just didn't think about it.
Conquest and
See if we get Frontlines mode real quick.
Head-on engagement, where the contested front line can move in both directions. During the first phase, each side fight over a chain of objectives. Only one of the objectives is active at once. Conquering an objective allows that faction to advance closer to the enemy base. Once a faction loses the flag objective closest to their base, they will have to defend the 2 telegraph posts inside the base. Artillery called in from the telegraphs can be used against the attackers. The phase ends when both telegraph posts have been destroyed, or when the attackers have run out of reinforcements. A failed telegraph attack will revert to the initial flag objectives phase, where the factions continue fighting for access to their bases. The game ends when one faction has destroyed both enemy telegraph posts, or when the time runs out.
So basically rush in 2 directions.
Pretty much.
I mean, at its most basic explanation.
It is. We are trying to get to the trench raider. It has been very difficult because that guy is picked by a lot of people. And the past operations mode that we played, the defending team had the trench raider available. The attacking team did not. So maybe we'll get a chance to use him here.
Star Wars Battlefront, I guess people are still talking about that. Yeah, I got really worried about that one. They got away with 4 maps per core mode. So the AT-AT mode, I think, only launched with 4 maps.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really worried that was going to be some kind of new standard.
Right.
Fortunately, it didn't, but it wasn't the game I was looking for. If you were looking for just a total casual arcade shooter, I don't know, I felt like it was really bland. It wasn't really all that interesting. It looked beautiful. But I don't know, it was a wasted opportunity.
It was.
Particularly, I honestly, people were freaked out that it was just going to be reskin Battlefield, and I think that would have been fantastic. I would have been happy with reskin Battlefield.
I would have been fine with that too, because it's just it would be anything like Battlefield 1 or even like how Hardlines was. I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think we are stuck. So you know what? I'm gonna.
Don't be stuck.
Oh wait, nope. Hold on. We got a little loading circle. There we go. Cool. Just took forever and a day. Okay, so. Yeah, so as you see in the video that we just showed, so we have, this is our main base where our 2 telegraph boxes are that we have to defend. Here's one flag that we have captured. Now we're trying to get to C. Once we capture C, we'll then be able to move on to, I think, the enemy's base. So, or then, no, their flag, and then we move on to their main base where we can use to take out their flag, their telegraphs. Actually, I think we're actually on their actual last flag, so pretty sweet. Yeah, so they mix a little bit of conquest with finishing off in a rush style mode. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I will say this map, when we played on Conquest, we got spawn trapped up at this base quite a lot.
It is easy to get kind of bogged down on this. Also, too, is that in this mode, capturing the flags is a lot slower. So you do need your team to stay adjacent to the flag. You can't just leave maybe 2 guys trying to capture it unless the area is cleared of enemies. The flag time it takes to capture one of these things does take quite a while.
Chris A is asking if you can have custom games that last an hour or more based on ticket count. The operations modes can last an hour on their own.
Easily. And even Frontlines, if you can mess with the clock, you can pretty much stay in a match. I mean, when we were at the preview event, one match lasted us, cool, we captured the flag. One match lasted us about 45 minutes.
So yeah, you might not even have to mess with custom servers to get a full hour match in.
Yeah, so now that we have captured the 3rd and final flag, because I didn't realize that we already had captured flag B, we captured flag C, now their telegraphs are available. So now when we arm these things, we have to defend them. But once both are destroyed, we win the match. But if our tickets run out, we have 33 right now. If they kill all of us, we get reset back to flag C. So let's see if we can try to get there and detonate these charges.
And then they still have the opportunity after that point to push you back to your flag.
We actually had a pretty awesome, at the preview event, we had a pretty awesome comeback match where we were down to flag C, and we managed to push them all the way back to their main base and detonate the communication boxes.
Ninja's One saying, you're going to be disappointed in me. I've never played Battlefield 1. Hey, there's a lot of good games out right now, and I could not blame you.
There's so many great games. And also, too, is that this game came out last year, so that's fine. But if you never played a game called The Witcher 3, I don't know you anymore. Seriously, The Witcher 3 is absolutely incredible. That game set such a high standard for me in open world games. It's ridiculous. I think I saw a guy there, but I don't think
it's almost unfortunate when a game comes along that good. It kind of ruins your experience for like mediocre games.
Yep. You set the bar so high.
Whoa, nice.
You set the bar so damn high when you play a game like that, and it's just any game that you play next that comes, you know, less than that, you're just like, it's okay. It's an alright game. So, not gonna lie, when I get my hands on Mass Effect, I'm probably gonna have that Witcher 3 mentality.
I think at the end of the day, if you haven't played Battlefield 1 in a nutshell, it's kind of a return to the basics of Battlefield and what made Battlefield good.
I'm gonna switch to my infantry one here. Alright, we got both telegraphs armed. I do love these new maps though. Like, this map's beautiful to look at. It kind of reminds me of the Vietnam map that you got for Bad Company 2's DLC. Hamburger Hill. Definitely reminds me of that. Oh god, I'm gonna die.
The enemy has defused objective apples.
Oh, he killed me with the new shotgun. Yeah, even the new auto shotgun is not in particularly great compared to the other auto shotguns you can get in this game. So, yeah, once again, the DLC, the new maps, new mode are awesome. The weapons, they're okay. It's just, there's no real need to have to go out of your way to try to collect all of them unless you're a gun nut. How did that not kill him? I need to stop spawning with my teammates that are surrounded. Oh, they defused it, and
defused objective butter.
All those skulls are good, right?
Yeah.
Happy skulls?
Happy skulls. So now they've killed all of our tickets, and now we're being pushed back to our flag C. Now, this is actually the one thing about Frontlines I find a little broken, is that the attacking team, when they're pushed back, obviously they're going to be the ones to get to this flag first, which means the moment this flag becomes unlocked, they're already capturing it again. If your team hurries quickly and works together, you can knock them off of it, but the fact that, you know, the attacking team already has a foothold on the flag that your team has to take back in order to push them out of there, it's a little... it's not broken, but it's a little I would say it's a little unfair. But if your team's working hard together, you guys shouldn't have a problem.
Chris is asking if there's any Battlefield games you'd like to see re-released. I could see Vietnam for sure.
I would love to see Vietnam.
I think, given how amazing the DLC was for Bad Company 2, the Vietnam expansion, I would absolutely love to see a remaster of...
I don't remember a lot of people playing Vietnam. I know my friends and I played it, but when we tried to find matches, we would find matches that were either be full or practically empty. Like, there was no middle ground. So I'm really hoping that I don't know if it had to do with the subject material or what, but I'm really hoping that if they ever do make a Vietnam Battlefield game again, a lot more people jump on board.
I don't know, if they did do Vietnam, though, I wouldn't mind if they redid it Bad Company 2 style with that destruction, with the, what was it, Frostbite 1.5 engine.
I would love to see...
You are a frontline sniper.
I love being a frontline sniper. That's the only way I snipe. I'm definitely not one of those snipers that's going to run up to the base of a hill way over there and be like, yeah, I'll back you guys up.
You know, I have wondered why they haven't just re-released the Battlefield games in a remastered package. I mean, do you hate money?
I mean...
Because people would play all of them.
They would. I mean, I would be fine if they took Battlefield 1942 and just throw it and put in the new destruction engine and just release that. You don't need to add any content. You don't need to add any more weapons. Modernize the graphics, give me that destructibility, and boom, I'm sold.
I played Battlefield Play for free, and I think that was pretty much just Battlefield 2. For the most part, it was a slightly watered-down version of it, but I enjoyed it in between Battlefields when I didn't have anything else to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Battlefield 2. I think all the old-school PC gamers just want Battlefield 2 back because that game was just large and open, and you know, there's a lot of gunfights you get into in Battlefield 3, 4. Well, not necessarily 3. It started in 4, Battlefield 1. In Battlefield 3, you could play around a conquest and only kill 10 people a whole match.
Oh yeah, I could believe that. I mean, I jumped on Battlefield 2 really late in the PC era, but there's still thousands of people still playing that game, and it's still considered to be one of the best Battlefield games out there.
I think the objectives were just way more spread out. It was more like Arma in that sense. You needed the helicopters and vehicles to ferry people between objectives. Yep. Otherwise, you would just run like for 10 minutes.
Which also was its downfall for me, in a sense to where if all the vehicles were gone, including troop transports, it really was a chore and just a pain in the ass when you had to get somewhere. And then when you got halfway there, you get popped by a sniper who's like hiding out in one of the buildings near your base or something like that. Excuse me, that was one of the things that kind of hurt my aspiration for playing that game, or continuing to play that game. Oh boy.
That guy knew how to duck.
He also knew how to die. Oh, I'm gonna die.
I have yet to figure out. I would love to just run the numbers and figure out whether I die more often throwing a grenade, or I want to figure out if I would just die less often if I didn't throw grenades. I feel like I die because I throw grenades a lot.
Yeah, you could.
Huh. Oh no!
Oh my god!
And he didn't even
That's
see
okay.
it. I guess the incendiary grenades kind of made that easier.
Damn! If only I didn't have to hop for the next bullet. I really like incendiary grenades. I like using incendiary grenades to kind of force my enemies down a certain path because you can use that as it's a wall of fire. So it's great to use that kind of stuff.
Ninja likes the Lee Enfield. Yeah, that gun's good.
Mm-hmm. God, we still have not.
Find that trench raider.
We're trying to. Or I'm trying to.
Because I play a lot of support, I like using the gas grenade.
Mm-hmm.
The bipod mounted guns are just as accurate with your gas mask on, so if you get into a cloud of gas and you pop the bipod, you're more accurate than anybody else around you. It's kind of a cool little thing to do.
I wonder if the trench raider is available in that bombed out church. Because if I can remember correctly, in the the hell.
What is that guy doing way
I
down
don't
the
know.
hill?
Some guy's like chasing after me with a light machine gun. Jesus. All right. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think the trench raider kit is available here in this bombed out church, but I think the flag needs to be activated over here in order for us to grab it. Yeah, flag's not activated, so we need to get it. It is cool though on Frontlines that if your team's being pushed back, different things will open up for your last base. So for example, up here on the top, the defending team, their siege cannon becomes available to use. For us back at our main base, I think either elite kits or our own siege cannon becomes available. Something, they do something.
Paladin's asking how we feel about automatics in a World War I game.
I mean, they existed, but nowhere near to the extent that this game shows them. I like them. I mean, they're not heavily reliable. The majority of the weapons that people use that I've noticed are bolt-action rifles, shotguns, and medic rifles that require like burst shots. Like you need to keep pumping the trigger. So, I mean, it's really cool to where you get people who use the rifles in battle like they're supposed to.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, this is a World War II game with a World War I story.
I mean, if they're doing that, then give me the Thompson. I want the Thompson machine gun. That's what I want.
My guess is they just figured they couldn't appeal to a large audience with all bolt-action rifles.
I wouldn't say that. I think because you have like what's that game that's on PC called Red Orchestra or something, where it's like some of the DLCs where it only has rifles on certain maps, and people play the hell out of that game, and it's like 100-person kind of field. Like I think it's like 50 versus 50, and people love that stuff. So I think it really depends upon what you're into. But yeah. You're dead. Yeah, this is my favorite sniper rifle. Love this one. What's funny is that this is actually the Lawrence of Arabia rifle, to be honest with you. This is the...
this is DLC.
Yeah, no, this is a regular rifle. The Lawrence of Arabia one was DLC, which is pretty much the exact same rifle, except it's all special and encrusted in little gold.
I don't know, how do you guys feel in the chat about sort of fantasy World War I with automatics? Man, Craters made this game. I gotta say.
Didn't you do like an experiment when the game first came out where you were like blasting like holes in the ground to create craters for yourself for foxholes, and you'd run there and try to snipe out of them or use them for cover?
Yeah, you can use them when crossing open ground.
Yeah.
Any sort of high explosive will start cratering in this game. I love that the maps end looking different from how they started.
Yes.
And not Levolution.
Levolution.
Just because of explosions.
I actually would really like to go back to World War II. Give me this engine in a World War II fashion, and I'm sold. Like, I would love to see, a battle where you have Panzer tanks versus Sherman tanks. You battle in Stalingrad, Kiev, in that huge tank open battle. I think that's the name of the place. But it's just so many really insane battles in World War II. And I think it's about time that we kind of go back to that, because a lot of people... I'm personally tired of all the Modern Warfare stuff. And even the futuristic stuff is getting a little tiresome for me. It still gives more variety, like especially like Titanfall kind of stuff. But I'm so tired of modern combat kind of atmosphere. You can put me back in World War II.
BBAA says he thinks the Scout class is a bit OP compared to previous Battlefields because of stuff like the sweet spot, fast bullet speed. How do you think about that? Yeah, they blanded the guns down a bit. The sniper rifles in previous Battlefields all had a greater bullet drop and were harder to handle and had greater variety.
Oh god, fire, fire, fire.
I don't know, again, I think the game went a bit more for mass appeal with automatic weapons and friendly sniper rifles. The nice thing about when you used to get killed in Battlefield with a sniper rifle is you knew somebody had to practice a lot, and they were good. You died because they were good.
I feel like that's the same thing here. Here's the thing. When using a scope on a sniper rifle, I feel like it is at least 3 times easier to kill a target than if you're trying to use iron sights. Like for me, I had to learn how to lead my target again in playing this game. I had to really learn how to, you know, pull my rifle and shoot like right at the right moments, time and all that jazz. So it's just, I feel like this type of sniping, I think, takes a lot more skill than in previous Battlefield games, especially considering the fact how, unless you're getting a headshot, even it takes like two to three bullets to the chest to kill somebody. Whether in previous Battlefield games, even in Bad Company 2, one bullet anywhere could kill them. Like, you could shoot someone's pinky toe off and they'd die from it in that game. So
the sweet spot is an interesting mechanic in this game. So the bullets do maximum damage out to an optimal range and then drop off.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a little bit less damage up front. They do max damage at this like sweet spot range and then less damage after that. That's actually based on real life. It simulates how a bullet slows down and sort of drags through things when it gets a little bit slower than after it comes out of the muzzle. It's a cool mechanic. I think I kind of wish there was a little bit more maybe bullet drop in this game or slightly slower bullet velocity, just so you do know that the person firing had to practice a lot with those weapons, and also lets you have a wider variety of sniper rifles. Because typically the speed that these rifles shoot were reserved for like the Gold Magnum and the Barrett and some really high level unlocks. I don't know, like the weird thing about Battlefield, all the Battlefields, is that because they are trying to balance everything and make everything fair, you never really unlock a better gun, or at least up until Battlefield 1. They tried really hard to make it so you never unlocked a better gun, which kind of defeats the purpose of grinding for weapons, but also keeps the game fair. It's a weird catch-22 in a Battlefield game.
Right.
Like, I grind so hard for that gun, which is, oh, okay, totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this gun's reasonable. I'm glad I worked like for a day or two to get it.
I do like in this game how you can buy your own guns at your own pace. Like, you have to be at a certain level, but the game gives you the choice of what guns you want to buy. I'm always for that kind of stuff. Like, just as you said, I don't like having to grind for guns for days when it's just like it kind of kills my aspiration for the game a little bit. Like, that was one of my downfalls with Bad Company 2, where if I wanted a certain machine gun or whatever, or assault rifle, I had to go through 5 or 6 rifles just to get to that one gun. And the rifles using those guns were atrocious because you had to use them in order to kind of continue to push forward. So,
do you need new DLC to unlock the new weapons? I'm going to go with yes.
Alright, we got one of their telegraphs, but the other one's still operational, so we can finish this. This is my one thing I don't like about Frontlines, is that it can go on forever. Like, it is literally a match where you could be playing tug of war for a good hour. He's out of my line of sight.
Comment about claymores in World War I. Yeah, I'm actually don't think they're strong enough. I think a claymore should always be a one-hit kill.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't see it, you weren't looking. Because there's nothing worse than playing a support and putting on a claymore to cover your butt, and then somebody just runs through it and stabs you. Just doesn't make any conceptual sense.
Yeah. Alright, guys. I'm probably gonna die doing this. That's okay. Alright. I knew I was gonna die. I actually was watching
Hello, Jaden54.
There was a few MLG players at the preview event, and one guy I noticed when he ran out of bullets and he used his revolver, he would actually be sliding as he was shooting. And he would get up and he'd slide again. He'd get up and slide again, and he kept on shooting. He was killing everybody, and he was only using the revolver. So it's pretty interesting when you go to some of these events where you can kind of just learn from the pros and just watch them. Why isn't this guy not arming it? And more importantly, why did I spawn with him on top of the objective?
This is where, as an older Battlefield player, I'd start throwing smoke on there.
Yeah, that's part of what I'm going to have to do here.
A lot of people as support players forget to use the smoke round, which you get 2 of every time you shoot. Smoke is there to obscure sightlines so you can cross open ground and not die, and also arm objectives. Tree fell down. That was pretty cool. Huh. I would not be doing what you were doing with this weapon.
I'm a frontline sniper, so... Oh shit. I had no health.
So if you lose this, you're just gonna get pushed back to
We're
the
just gonna get
flag.
pushed back to C, and it's like that's. I mean, I like front lines. I like what it's supposed to be, but I feel like the time. Like we haven't been playing this for 65 minutes. We came in at around, I think, or they were at like their 47-minute point, and here we are. And it's just like it can go on and on and on. It's like, oh god. I think just like 2 rounds of this would like satisfy anyone for a good couple hours.
Thank you, Jaden54, for liking and subscribing to our channel. If you guys come back tomorrow. Some of us will be streaming some Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which I love, by the way. Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer. Got my mind in the Mass Effect 3 because I played a bunch of that ahead of time to prepare for it.
Blow up! Please blow up. Don't tell me someone's on it.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Saying, is there a way to get Premium Pass without buying Deluxe Edition? So the weird thing about the pricing model for this Battlefield is if you buy Deluxe Edition, I think you do not get Premium. So
I mean, we got the game in. We got the two pre-order bonuses along with and the Deluxe Edition, but the Deluxe Edition did not come with Premium. You have to get Premium yourself, and unless you have EA Access, you're going to be paying about $49 for it.
Although I think when we were on there yesterday, you can now get the base game in Premium for regular price. Don't quote me on that.
All right. How we doing on time?
Robo saying he doesn't really want to have to unlock the guns. Why don't we'll do one last round and then we'll sign off?
Yeah. Do you want to do front lines or do you want to go back to an operations thing?
Let's go to operations.
Yeah, I think operations is a lot more.
You probably duck out of
offer.
operations more reliably. Yeah, I mean, going back to an earlier point, Battlefield is not a game that really plays to unlock trees. In a weird way, because it's a game that's so dedicated to balance, you can grind really hard to get a gun that's just reasonable. I mean, that's usually what it is. Like, oh man, I worked for a week to get that gun, and it's completely sensible.
Yeah, right.
You know, like it's hard to get excited for really well-balanced weapons. So I don't know, like I that's why I like the money system in Hardline, and I was kind of hoping it would carry over. They sort of carried it over in this, but as far as I'm concerned, the only way Battlefield weapons should be unlocked is you just have money for playing the game, and you just buy whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Because making you do things that aren't related to objectives or like grind in certain ways takes away from Battlefield, right? Battlefield is just a game where I need to be a tank right now. I need to be a pilot right now. I need to be a scout right now. And if I don't do that and like 20 other people around me aren't doing that because they're trying to get a gun that has a specific objective just for that gun, it's just way less of a fun game.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, just give me the option to get what gun I want, but let me earn it by using other weapons, not any particular type. So, because yeah, as you just said, it does pull me out of it a little bit when I see everyone running around with the exact same gun, and I was like, or like the exact same character class running around in the same area,
All trying to do the same dumb thing
over and over
to get that one gun.
It is funny though when one of the things you have to do to get the new medic rifle is that you have to revive 50 people. So lately, in all these modes I've been playing this morning, we would have no one who would be dead spawn. They would just wait because they knew there'd be a flood of medics coming over to try to revive them so they can get those 50 revives so they can get the next medic gun. So, but the fact that it takes something like that for people to have to play the game the way it should kind of bothers me at times.
Yeah, I think unlock trees encouraging bad player behavior is something that DICE has never been good at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at what you are going to make your players do to get this thing.
Yeah.
And make sure that it is related to what they're supposed to be doing with their class or with the mode. Thanks, Stewie.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll play a little bit longer.
Provided the game wants to load it up, which it is. I will say, though, that the new DLC maps do take quite a bit of time to load. I don't know why. So I guess it might be the servers, because a lot of people are pouring into them or what, but definitely sometimes.
So, Chris saying bring back the old Unreal Tournament 99
Oh, boy.
method of weapon pickup.
That would be pretty cool.
So just like floating around the battlefield. Well, in the next Russia DLC, they could go Enemy at the Gate style, where every other man gets a gun.
And the other gang gets the bullets, and you both have to look at each other like who gets the gun, who gets the bullets.
And then you just have a whole lot of friendly fire for the gun.
Yeah. Just a lot of Russians rushing the line. So this to me is beautiful. Like, I like this. Like, this is really... Oh, there's a sniper right there. I don't want to get sniped. But yeah, so I like the fact that the beauty of these maps now, especially by the engine, is really... It's really something.
Frostbite has always had amazing sound, amazing directional sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think visual quality has always been great. What they've always been juggling is visual quality versus destruction. Personally, I would always just go towards destruction.
Right.
I think they've compromised in Battlefield 4. They compromised too much in 3 and 4, a little bit too much towards visuals. But it is a gorgeous game. I mean, Battlefield 1 does both, so it's got gorgeous visuals and ground terrain deformation and destruction. So I think they did pull it off in this one.
Oh dang! I saw my smoke grenade. I threw that thinking it was my incendiary grenade.
I cannot tell you how many teams don't understand smoke. They're like, oh, the thing doesn't kill people, I'm not going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You can win or lose matches with smoke.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can obscure an awful kill box where your entire team's just running through a funnel and dying, and you're the guy that drops the smoke there, and suddenly your team breaks through.
On fire. Oh, is that
Yeah, it was right
trap
there.
wire bomb?
Or you can drop smoke on a crate that gets armed or a telegraph that gets armed, so their team can't see your guy who's in that cloud, and you get the detonation. I mean, the weird thing is you usually don't get credit for it, which is why I think people don't do it, which goes back to why I think the unlock tree in Battlefield's never been a great fit.
I mean, I'm guilty of not using the smoke grenade as much as I should, especially during certain moments of, operations map and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I won't lie.
Some Doug, yep, it's they shall not pass. DLC's out for premium members now. Typically, it's about a 2-week wait for everybody else. My personal recommendation these days is just wait the 2 weeks. If you like the DLC, there'll be plenty of people playing it. Mostly because, I don't know, by the time the last DLC rolls around, people aren't usually playing so much anyway. Might as well save the money.
Yeah. Just another reason why you just don't pay up front and stuff like that.
50 of our soldiers remain.
Yeah, Robo was not too pleased to have to go kill 50 people with the Automatica.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guns they require you to use in order to get the new guns, kill 50 soldiers with whatever. Some of the guns you have to use are not, some of the more popular weapons, so it's kind of a bummer. Like in order to get the new shotgun, you have to use, I think it's called the M97. I'm not quite sure, but you have to use the scope version or the red dot sight version of that shotgun in order to get 50 kills with it. And it is a pain in the ass to use, especially when you try to just look down your sights for just a few seconds. You get that zoom in. It's like, come on, like that's so hard to use on a shotgun.
I will still be forever baffled by the unlock assignment for support class in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 to wound people and not kill them. That's just nonsensical.
Who's your favorite character class? The guy with the sniper rifle that can damage vehicles. You like to shoot down
kit.
Yeah, you like to shoot down a lot of planes with that kit.
So the most interesting unlock tree I've seen recently was Titanfall 1's regen system. What Titanfall 1's regen system did was tell you, here are the guns in the game, they were all intentionally designed, and you will get good at them. And through our unlock system, we'll make you good. Like, you're going to get good or you're not going to progress. It was like a training system. And you'd pick up a gun and be so frustrated with it and not be getting through your regen, and then you would figure that gun out, and suddenly, a gen later, you knew how that gun worked. That was really cool. Like, I haven't seen that happen I can't think of another game that's done that.
Right.
And I think that might even be a good fit for Battlefield.
I think there's an enemy behind us, but oh well.
But yeah, like that unlock tree made you a better player.
Right.
It forced you to be a better player. It's got the hot automatic.
God, I don't know how he had the patience
I
to get
do
that
not
damn
like that gun. I had to grind to that gun for a feature we did, and I stopped playing for like a month or two after I did it.
I think
Just was miserable.
I think you flat out stopped playing, to be
to be fair, Titanfall 2 came out right then.
Yeah. I don't think I remember seeing you jump back into Battlefield after that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to traditional unlock tree. I don't feel it works with Battlefield.
I just don't think they did a good job with the support class weapons at all. Like, the support class weapons are just not very good.
Have a good night, Robo.
Is this a flamethrower trooper? Oh, well, I'll never know.
Have a good night, Ninja.
Daylight savings. That's right. This is the one thing I always hate, though, is that I hate when people have a damn tank, right? And what do? They just sit in the back and use it as an artillery piece because they're afraid of getting their tank destroyed. It's like, use the damn tank to help take the objective. Because you have machine guns on the side, the thing will obviously protect you pretty well, and it scares the crap out of enemy soldiers. So yeah, try to use the tank the way it's supposed to be used.
It's the new recon plane ditch where they take the plane just to a sniper spot and...
It's like people just want to go, you know what, I want to be a sniper tank. I'm just going to park my tank way off over here and be as useless to my team as possible. Because that's what I want to do.
You got killed by the ribeye rolls.
Ribeye rolls. Hope that guy had a fun time unlocking it. Yeah, if you're just now joining us, the new weapons, they're cool, but they're not necessary to go out of your way to get. They really are not. So, but the maps and the new mode are pretty fun.
Do you want to work real hard for completely reasonable weapons?
Battlefield 1 now.
Battlefield.
God, it's like incredible. Like, they should just name this gun the M1 Grand. Yeah.
I hear exciting music. What's happening?
We're about to lose all of our reinforcement pieces.
Yeah.
That's right. And the flame troopers here.
Still haven't found the trench raider. Might not happen this stream.
I don't think so. I really don't even know where his kit is located to pick up. Really do not know where that guy is.
Anyone remember the MG42 for Battlefield 2 for the medic?
Oh, wow. We're taking these points. We're down to almost no guys left. Not bad, people.
Yeah, the MGs, if I remember, I had a really high rate of fire. Super satisfying at close range. I missed the mortar strike from Bad Company 2. The mortar strike was a really good way to make sure people didn't camp. It was a recon ability.
They had the mortar strike in Battlefield 3, didn't they? I could have sworn they did.
No, I think you just spotted. They had the javelin, the javelin SOFLAM combination. I like the river crossing on this map. It is actually a really cool way to break the map up.
And I like how they give you like destroyed vehicles for cover, so it's not just a wide open area. Because I know one of the maps in operations mode, you were just left out in the open just to get slaughtered.
Steve994 says, "How does the map feel?" This map feels good.
It feels really good. It's nice. It's a variety of different
river crossing to small town.
It's like a little. I switch to a different squad here, so because it looks like they're closer.
I'm generally not a huge fan of the close quarters maps in Battlefield games, just because I don't feel that they play to Battlefield strengths.
It becomes a grenade launch, throwing grenade fest in the close quarters matches. Like some of the maps, like not some of the maps. Forte Vaux. There are certain sections of that map where when you're trying to capture the flags, you just get closed in all over the place, and people just start lobbing smoke grenades and grenades everywhere.
Although, again, there are recent patches where they're basically reducing grenade spam by making sure ammo crates don't hand them out at near the rate they used to, and only giving players, I believe it's one grenade instead of two. So they're trying to cut down on grenade spam, which is nice. Are the new tanks fun?
They are. I like the new tanks. The Behemoth is cool to use, but it is very slow and it's terrible at turning. You really need to use that tank to kind of park it somewhere and just defend your area with it. Don't ever try to drive towards the enemy, or else you're just going to get surrounded by enemy infantry and just bump and blast your tank to hell. So you really got to be careful how you use that tank.
Chris giving some love to the heavy metal map in Bad Company 2. Yeah, that came in. That was late DLC, but that was an excellent tank map. You know what I really miss is Armored Kill DLC.
That was like the all-tank one, right?
Bandar Desert. Oh, I miss Bandar Desert in Battlefield 3. So good. Like just a giant tank map.
We have taken objective apples.
All right, win it. Win it all. Win all of World War I and bring it home.
That's what we do every day.
Win it for the pigeons.
We got 1 life left. We're not making this. Nope. That's fine, though.
All right, we're going to have to wrap this up. Sorry for those of you just joining us. You can go back and look at the archive of our stream. Also, we did a full breakdown of everything in this DLC. It's currently on GameSpot on our YouTube channel. We played with everything for 8 hours with YouTubers.
Did a full montage. Also, we did an instructional video in detail of what you can look forward to in this DLC. And yeah, also too is that because of Mass Effect Andromeda coming out, we just launched a 45-minute gameplay clip of the first 45 minutes of the game. Also too is that we just did a live stream. Jean-Luc and Jake did it about showcasing the first few missions you do in the game. And tomorrow we get to do multiplayer for Andromeda for Mass Effect. So be sure to join us for that. We really want to thank you guys for showing up and joining us. I'm Spencer. This is Aaron. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.